Welcome to AK Anime Explainer. Today is explanation of Soul Land 3, Legend of the Dragon King Part 218. Without any delay, start explanation. Having seen what a charge toward the purple light would bring, he knew that the person in the lead would bear the brunt of the destructive power. Without a doubt, he wanted to be at the front to act as a shield. Even so, the others would be suffering the force of impact from all directions. At that point, his Golden Dragon Rage domain would prove vital. With the addition of Xu Xiaoyon's star chain, they should be able to overcome the obstacles while under the layers of numerous enhancements. An hour later, everyone had finished their preparations. Tang Wulin said, "Keep your buns at hand and eat them only after I give the order. Get ready." As he said this, he raised his Golden Dragon Spear before him with the tip pointed outward. Everyone donned their battle armor. Tang Wulin lowered his voice and yelled, "Charge!" At this command, he took the lead and dashed forth. Star chains linked everyone together. However, Tang Wulin did not unleash his Golden Dragon Rage domain at first. This was because the domain would consume too much of his energy, so it was unnecessary for it to be used for now. Yuan and Yehue used the Fallen Angel transformation and not the Titan Giant Ape transformation, which had greater endurance. This was because Tang Wulin had concluded that if Yuan and Yehue used the Titan Giant Ape transformation, she would suffer greater impacts when her size got too big. It was better off for her to use the Fallen Angel transformation. With him at the front shielding them from the blast, the force of impact would be less. Having had prior experience, Tang Wulin charged swiftly. He single-handedly blocked the terrifying energy head-on. However, that energy was everywhere, pressing down on their bodies from all directions. Everyone utilized their soul power. Yu Zhenyu brandished the Saint Sword in his hands. Other than Yuan and Yehue, everyone else's body had a layer of holy light. Although the holy light shattered in the next moment, it was enough for it to be able to withstand the energy for a moment. Yi Xinglan wielded the Star God Sword and spots of starlight scattered all around them. The starlight also shattered swiftly, only able to reduce some of the pressure around them. Everyone unleashed their own abilities as they resisted the pain that threatened to tear them to pieces. They followed closely behind Tang Wulin in their forward charge. Because of the star chain, Tang Wulin could clearly sense the rate of that they used their soul power. When the destructive energy hit their bodies, they expended an equal amount of soul power to resist it. Although Tang Wulin was the vanguard, he was expending much more energy than when he charged forward alone. They could not conserve their resources this time. Tang Wulin drew a deep breath. As a halo lit up under his feet, the Golden Dragon Rage domain was unleashed, and his body grew to a height of 3 meters. His gigantic body was much more muscular than it was before. He blocked most of the blast force and picked up speed. The other 6 members of Shrek 7 monsters absorbed the energy given off by Tang Wulin's body. The pain they felt was greatly reduced instantly. Tang Wulin's Golden Dragon Spear shook and Golden Dragon soars to the heavens opened up a path for them. The sonorous dragon's roar negated the destructive aura which came at them from the front. His body then started trembling violently. With every step they took, the pressure they felt increased, divided among the 7 of them. Tang Wulin shifted his Golden Dragon Spear to his left hand. The scales all over his body shone brightly. Golden Dragon claws jutted out from his right hand and he swung them brazenly. When he swung his Golden Dragon claws this time, they seemed to flicker. In that instant, the Golden Dragon claws had actually swung 9 swings. This was Golden Dragon extends its claws of the Golden Dragon 9 moves. Tang Wulin combined the Golden Dragon extends its claws he had learned from his Grandmaster and his own Golden Dragon Dreadclaw together to create this original technique, Golden Dragon Nirvana. He tore the air before him to shreds. Even the destructive power was instantly ripped to pieces. Tang Wulin's blood essence power immediately weakened. "Bin buns, crystal buns, eat," he yelled and stabbed abruptly with his Golden Dragon Spear. Golden Dragon flies. With the help of the Golden Dragon Nirvana, he broke open the space. Then, he rode on the momentum of Golden Dragon flies to rapidly charge forward. He practically opened up a path for his companions. As the others behind him followed at full speed, They ate their bloodthirst-bean buns and firm crystal buns. A layer of a crystalline substance appeared outside everyone's battle armor which insulated them from the outer destructive power. This was also Tang Wulin's first time eating the firm crystal bun. Its effects were much more powerful than he had imagined. He felt as if another layer of armor had been added to his body. Although the destructive energy was also disintegrating the crystallite body, it was doing so at a much slower rate than when it was directly disintegrating their own defenses. Under the combined effects of Golden Dragon Rage Domain, bloodthirst-bean buns, and firm crystal buns, everyone felt that the pressure had been greatly lessened. They charged forward at full power. Food-type Tool Soul Masters had the weakest combat strength in the early phase. The enhancement they brought were also much inferior compared to the Soul Masters who could directly cause an enhancement. However, with the gradual improvement of their cultivation base, a food-type Tool Soul Master's ability would gradually come to the fore. The enhancements they brought were more direct and longer-lasting, with fewer side effects. Also, there was no risk of them being interrupted. It was much more difficult for a food-type Tool Soul Master to cultivate compared to a support system Soul Master. They needed denser soul powers to improve themselves. However, once a food-type Tool Soul Master reached a certain level, the roles they played would certainly be superior to a support system Soul Master. PUH. The feeling of immediate relaxation invigorated Tang Wulin's spirit. This proved that he was not dreaming when he met the Elder. The others also felt their bodies go lighter. In the next moment, they appeared in the valley which Tang Wulin had visited before. The unexpected reduction in pressure, and a sudden surge of potent life source made everyone pant heavily despite themselves. The group looked massively relieved. Tang Wulin wore his golden helmet and armor as he stood in front of everyone with the golden dragon spear in his hand. Because the others had not recovered their soul powers, all of them appeared to have completely exhausted themselves now. At that point, Tang Wulin saw an elder clad in black garments. His hair and beard were completely white, but he did not appear as genial as the other elder he had met before. This elder's eyes were sullen, and he had a hooked nose. He placed his hands behind him as he stared at them coldly. "Hello, Senior." Tang Wulin retracted his golden dragon spear and nodded to greet the elder. The elder looked at him, then at the others panting behind him. He gestured with his hand. "Come with me." His voice was femininely high-pitched. It made the listeners feel quite awkward. "Understood." Tang Wulin gestured with his hand for his companions to follow the old man hastily. The black-clothed elder did not walk at a fast pace. The route he took was the same one Tang Wulin had taken before. Observing his surroundings, Tang Wulin had a deeper impression of the feeling the faraway purplish-black light gave him. Even though this place was filled with dense vitality, the gigantic column of light still filled their hearts with fright from far away. Such a destructive aura would terrify anyone. The fear they felt was unnerving and entirely beyond their control. The other 6 members of the Shrek 7 monsters took a glance at their surroundings with curious expressions on their faces. Was this the final destination of their journey? Although they had experienced difficulties and dangers, they still made it in the end. Following the elder through a forest, they were brought to an empty area. "Do you know why you're here?" said the black-clothed elder dryly. Tang Wulin replied, "The academy sent us here for our military service, which counts as our military training as well." The elder suddenly smiled. When he smiled, the wrinkles on his face seemed to fold into each other. It was an extremely peculiar sight. "Yes, it's military training. The conditions for your stay are simple. As long as you don't collapse, you can remain here for 2 years at most. Additionally, when you experience a mental breakdown, you'll immediately be discharged. So, my young friends, you'd better watch yourselves. First, make your own introductions." Mental breakdown? When they heard these words, the 7 of them could not help but feel a chill run down their spines. "I'm the captain, Tang Wulin, a 5-ringed Soul King, 1-word battle armor master. Yi Xinglan, 5-ringed Soul King, 1-word battle armor master. Yuan and Yehue, 5-ringed Soul King, 1-word battle armor master. Xie Xie, 5-ringed Soul King, 1-word battle armor master. Shulishi, 5-ringed Soul King, 1-word battle armor master. Everyone was of the same rank, so they basically just announced their names. After hearing their introductions, the black-cloaked elder's face did not show any signs of shock. He said dryly, "My name is Nightmare. I believe that you'll remember my name for a long time. This is Demon Island. Where you're standing now is the central part of Demon Island, Demon Valley, and I'm the demon here. You can also call me Old Demon Nightmare." Old Demon Nightmare? He was clearly a man. Why would he call himself a demon? Tang Wulin felt somewhat shocked, but he did not question the elder any further. "Senior, what do we do now?" asked Tang Wulin. He must be clear about what they would be tasked with. Nightmare chuckled. "There's no need to rush. You'll have plenty to do later. This will be your resting place from now on. Remember, never let your curiosity lead you to the destructive light. If you're tainted by the light, no one can save you. Understood?" Destructive light? Of course, Tang Wulin was curious. He was not the only one. The others were also wondering as to what that column of light was. They had already been terrified for half a day just by glancing at the purple column which shot toward the skies. The thing was truly dreadful. Also, they could feel that the reason the outer parts of this demon island were filled with dead zones was most probably directly related to this destructive light. "You all have just arrived today. Your military training will start tomorrow. You are to find your own food, as there's plenty of that in the forest. All right, that'll be all." After he had finished talking, Old Demon Nightmare turned around and left. His body suddenly turned illusory. He seemed to have moved swiftly and vanished before everyone's eyes. Old Demon Nightmare had left. Tang Wulin said, "Everyone, let's take a break here and recover our stamina and soul power before anything else. The life source here is extremely dense, so it'll be a big help for us." The others could hardly wait. They came from a place where there was absolutely no origin energy to a place where the life source was dense. How could they not make the most of every moment they had? For a soul master, what could be more important than being at full soul power? While his companions rested, Tang Wulin also sat down cross-legged. He focused his spirits and meditated. The density of the life source here was much higher than what he felt anywhere else. Even the life source on Sea God's Island was not as thick as this. This was highly beneficial to his cultivation. If he cultivated the Blue-Silver Emperor in a place where the life source was dense, he could definitely achieve twice the results with half the effort. Tang Wulin was just about to enter into his meditative state when he suddenly sensed danger. He instinctively opened his eyes and saw a black figure aiming a whip at him. Not good. He raised his arms instinctively and pushed outward at the same time. However, the black figure had come too quickly. Tang Wulin grunted. A huge force reached his body and he was whipped so hard that he was tossed backward. He was not the only one. The other members of Shrek 7 monsters suffered the same attacks. Caught off guard, the 7 of them were whipped until they reeled to the left and right as. What had just happened? They swiftly unleashed their martial souls at the same time as they hastily gathered together. However, they could feel pangs of intense pain radiating through their bodies. When they lowered their heads to look, they saw that small perforations appeared on their bodies where they had been whipped and there were faint traces of blood flowing out. The stabbing pains then began to feel like scorching hot burns. Xie was the first one to let out a wail. He moved to cover where he was pricked just now. "Don't move." Tang Wulin grabbed his hand. He felt the same strong stabbing pain. What shocked him even more was that despite his bloodline power, he could not dampen the feeling of the pain. Poison? Yi Xinglan resisted the pain strongly, but her expression changed. With your level of alertness, how could you possibly be the Shrek 7 monsters? Don't tell me that you thought that this place was safe. Old Demon Nightmare's voice came from all around them. Enjoy this neurotoxin. Don't bother trying to heal yourselves or resist with your soul powers. It's useless. You'll heal naturally after being in pain for 2 hours. Hurry up and let me see your pained expressions. It's been a long time since I've felt such joy. Neurotoxins. While Old Demon Nightmare was talking, the pain Tang Wulin and the others felt had been rapidly intensifying. The few Assault System Soul Masters were slightly better off. Xie Xie, Xu Xiaoyan, and Xu Lixi were already ghastly pale. They were in so much pain that they were trembling. If they did not grit their teeth to bear with it, they might have given in to the pain long before this. They finally understood where the nightmare from Old Demon Nightmare came from. However, they had just arrived. Also, was this not overkill if he just wanted to increase their alertness? Tang Wulin's condition was less severe. Not that he felt no pain, but his endurance was much stronger than an ordinary person's. After being tortured so many times by the Golden Dragon King bloodline, his threshold for pain was extremely high. However, under such conditions, his forehead was drenched with sweat, and his body trembled slightly. Ah! Xie Xie could finally take it no longer and cried out once more. When he cried out, it was like he had given a signal. The others also moaned and groaned as they could not help but give voice to their pain. We have to bear this pain for 2 hours. Tang Wulin's heart twitched. Is this a style of training as well? Merely 10 minutes had passed. Other than Tang Wulin, Yi Xinglan, and Yuan and Yehui, the other 4 members were already rolling on the ground. Yuan and Yehui and Yi Xinglan were sitting cross-legged on the floor. Their bodies were twitching continuously, and they were not far from collapsing. When they thought about it, the entire affair seemed slightly strange. This pain they felt kept intensifying. Tang Wulin could still manage to stand, but his body started swaying as well. At that moment, the sensation of pain suddenly weakened. Then, it started to subside. The human body's potential was limitless. They were still in pain, but at least they felt much better when it lessened. Finally, another 10 minutes had passed. When the sensation of pain had reduced to a level that they could endure, everyone managed to sit up. That was ruthless of him. We haven't even done anything yet. Is he trying to show us who's boss? Xie Xie complained. Tang Wulin smiled wryly, it's us who've been too careless. Even Elder Cai and Grand Teacher dreaded the military training here, so we should have been more careful. After this, whenever we're taking a break, we must have someone on guard duty. Fortunately, the 2 hours of pain the senior told us was just a lie. Yuan and Yehui suddenly said, it might not be. I've studied a bit about neurotoxins. These things don't go away that easily. It might be coming in stages. She had barely finished when the pain intensified again all of a sudden. As expected, it was not that easily done away with. They were in pain for 10 minutes, and the pain would subside for 10 minutes before it returned again. The physical torture this process gave them was one thing, but the torture this had on their spirits were extremely intense. It was as though Nightmare was controlling the pain they felt so that it was not enough to make them faint, but still made sure they experienced agony in the extreme. An hour later, everyone was drenched in sweat and on the verge of collapsing. Tang Wulin sat down as well. Yi Xinglan, Yuan and Yehui, and he could still manage to support their bodies as they sat. It was already an incredible feat for the 4 others to be able to maintain their consciousness. When it was not that painful, Xu Lixi freed his hands and made recovery pork buns for everyone to ensure that they had enough stamina. Xie Xie looked at Tang Wulin. Captain, can you knock me out cold? I can't take this anymore. It's agonizing. It even reaches my bones. The spasms of pain are more than I can bear. Yuan and Yehui glared at Xie Xie. You can't faint. If you're unconscious, then the neurotoxin might harm your internal organs. You can only utilize your soul power to protect yourself while you're conscious. You'll be alright once you bear with it. Xie Xie, hang in there. As she said this, Yuan and Yehui stretched her hand towards Xie Xie and pulled him to her side. With Yuan and Yehui to lean on, Xie Xie's emotions stabilized somewhat. At this moment, a voice rang out in praise, not bad. An hour has passed, and you've not fainted yet. Your levels of endurance are quite formidable. Since you've shown such outstanding performances, I'll say that all of you have passed the first trial. Old Demon Nightmare reappeared in everyone's line of sight. He held a small jar in his hand. He walked up to Tang Wulin and passed the jar to him. A fall into the pit, a gain for your wit. I don't have to tell you what to do I? This is the antidote. Apply it directly onto your wounds. Tang Wulin received the jar with a bitter smile. He said with slight helplessness, Elder Nightmare, you've truly shown us who's boss right away. Old Demon Nightmare said flatly, since you're here, we'll have to take responsibility for you. Everything that you're experiencing now might very well be what you'll be facing in the future. The human body has a very important characteristic, and it's that its endurance for the second encounter would be as different as the earth is from the skies compared to the first time. This is especially true for your mental endurance. All right, that'll be all. With that, he stood up and disappeared again. Tang Wulin panted heavily. It was only now he slowly uncoiled his blue-silver emperor vines and gathered everyone near him. Xu Lixi and Xu Xiaoyan looked ghastly pale as they were on the brink of consciousness. Xie's condition was slightly better than them as he leaned on Yuan and Yehui. Yu Jingyu was pale as he embraced Xu Xiaoyan. His condition would not have been this bad had he not overexpended his life force previously. His body's endurance had also weakened naturally. Tang Wulin, Yi Xinglan, and Yuan and Yehui could still maintain their consciousness. However, their bodies still twitched ever so often and were trembling slightly. Tang Wulin wielded the golden dragon spear in his hands. He kept replenishing his stamina by absorbing the life source in the air through his deep breathing. As the captain, he had to overcome all obstacles no matter what happened. He still had to protect his comrades. He could not deny that Old Demon Nightmare's display of power had given them a well-learned lesson, and that was to never fully trust a person no matter what. They must also be vigilant at all times. Not bad, you're doing better than I imagined. You must be hungry, eat up. Old Demon Nightmare appeared out of nowhere. He carried a large food container in his hands and walked up to them. He opened the food container which had 8 levels. Each level was filled with different delicacies. There were even fruits. Old Demon Nightmare placed the food before them. Then, he smiled and made an inviting gesture. He turned around and vanished. When he saw food, Tang Wulin's heart wavered. He loved to eat, and he had just consumed a lot of energy just now. When he was faced with so many delicacies, he had a strong urge to charge toward the food. However, should he charge over? Who knew if the food was poisoned? They had just survived an ordeal that nearly cost them their lives. If it happened again, nobody could guarantee their safety. He would not eat. Regardless how attractive or wonderful the food appeared, he would not touch it. Tang Wulin's heart kept telling him that it would not be a torture this time, that the food was edible. However, if he trusted Old Demon Nightmare this time, what would happen the next time? Who knew whether he would put them to the test again? Tang Wulin drew a deep breath and said with a deep voice, from now onward, we won't touch anything brought by Old Demon Nightmare. Be on your guard while you recover your stamina. You guys can rest, I'll keep watch. If you're hungry, eat some of the field rations first. When Xu Lixi recovers, he can make buns for everyone. Yi Xinglan nodded. Starlight burst forth from her hands. Spots of starlight fell and slashed the food into pieces. Tang Wulin exchanged looks with her. He understood that this was her way of reinforcing her belief. Wasting food is a shameful act. I can swear on my own good name that none of the food I've given you was foul. Your mental endurance is pitifully weak, Old Demon Nightmare's scornful voice sounded. Tang Wulin was unmoved. When you gave us the antidote back then, your good name was already tarnished. From now on, we won't believe in a single word you say. Since our military training requires us to survive this place for 2 years, we'll just have to do our best. You don't have to trouble yourself over us. Cavern. They've gotten the hang of it so quickly. And they look so determined, said Old Demon Blight with a face full of shock. Old Demon Nightmare shrugged. So what? This is just the beginning. It's but an appetizer. There are plenty of main courses waiting for them after this. Under Tang Wulin's firm watch, his comrade's stamina and soul powers gradually recovered. Old Demon Nightmare did not make another appearance. They took turns to rest. With the additional help from Shulishi's recovery pork buns, everyone managed to regain their best conditions. These were the perks of bringing a food-type tool soul master along. They never have to worry about food. Yi Xinglan looked at the skies. It's been a whole day. What are we going to do next? Tang Wulin thought about it for a while and said, we'll do nothing. We'll just stay here and cultivate. How about this? Apart from Shulishi, we'll work in pairs to stand guard. The others can meditate and cultivate. Just think of this as secluded cultivation. The life source is so dense here, it'll be highly beneficial for our cultivation. The others nodded in agreement. They felt it as well. Although they had experienced inhumane torture before this, they could obtain twice the results with half the effort when they cultivated here. The life source in the air was the purest origin energy, and it complemented the mysterious heaven method which had the special attribute of abundance. The results of their cultivation were better than when they cultivated in the academy. Shulishi spoke with fear after the event. That old demon Nightmare won't have let us off that easily, will he? Tang Wulin said with a deep voice, when the soldiers arrive, we'll use a general to hold them off. When the water rises, we'll use earth to keep it back. Remember, we'll do our best not to eat anything or drink the water from here. We'll ration the drinking water we brought. We'll just wait and see. I'm sure they'll make their move soon. If we make the first move, we may fall into one of their traps in this place which we're completely unfamiliar with. That's why we have to wait for them to make the first move. Okay. The others voiced out their agreement and began their individual cultivation. Tang Wulin's conviction gave everyone a great boost in confidence. Eh? What's that? Xie suddenly pointed in the direction before them. A faint yellowish mist slowly encroached them. The yellow mist came from all directions. Tang Wulin hastily shouted, "Hold your breath! Be careful, everyone!" A new trick was being deployed. As he spoke, he made a gesture toward Yuan and Yehui. Yuan and Yehui's soul ring flickered and she immediately unleashed her Titan Giant Ape Martial Soul. She raised her fists and shot air cannons to disperse the yellowish mist as much as possible. However, at this very moment, yellowish mist emerged from under their feet. It completely enveloped the seven of them. Just before he lost consciousness, the thought in Tang Wulin's mind was that they should not have stayed there because it was old demon Nightmare who brought them there. The seven of them fell limply to the ground. They were totally unconscious. The yellow mist dispersed. Two figures came to their sides. Old Demon Blight was all smiles, while Old Demon Nightmare wore a villainous expression. A bunch of kids and still they're trying to out-scheme us? He. We'll have you know just how much better we are, said Old Demon Nightmare coldly. Old Demon Blight said, all right. Be quick. Let's see what these little fellows are thinking about. When Tang Wulin came to, he noticed that he was still where he was before he fainted. However, his comrades were gone. He flipped and leaped to his feet with blinding speed. His face looked grim. He was beginning to suspect if this was truly the location where the academy had sent them to do their military training. Why was everything so strange? Also, the methods Old Demon Nightmare used against them were not training techniques at all. They seemed more like torture. What kind of a place was Demon Island? Ah! A shrill cry made Tang Wulin shiver. The cry sounded very familiar. It must have been someone he knew, but this person was not among the Shrek 7 monsters. Who was that? Tang Wulin swiftly unleashed his battle armor and the golden dragon spear. In this peculiar place, he must put on 120% of his spirit. He needed to look for the source of the voice even though his comrades were with him at present. Besides, this was the place where Old Demon Nightmare brought them. They should not have stayed in the first place. After Tang Wulin muttered to himself, he quickly ran toward the direction from which the voice came. Ah! Another sharp cry came which revealed the direction to him. Tang Wulin flitted through the forest. Suddenly, far away, a lake presented itself before him. Beside the lake, a fair figure was on the ground and slowly retreating. The figure was wielding a long spear which flickered with silver light. She had no clothes on her, and she seemed to be taking a bath. Before her, a python was slowly closing in on her. This python was more than 100 meters in length and was as thick as the diameter of a water tank. Its huge head was the size of a small house. It opened its huge mouth and was slowly inching toward the young girl. "Enea!" Tang Wulin shouted hysterically. Then, he ran over without hesitation. Golden light flashed, golden dragon flies. His body moved swiftly and he seemed to have shielded Enea behind him in an instant. It was precisely Enea who wielded the silver dragon spear. The python before her was exuding an extremely terrifying and imposing manner with its body. Tang Wulin howled furiously toward the skies. He unleashed his golden dragon body and the golden dragon roar without hesitation. When it was pounded with the golden dragon roar, the python's body retreated momentarily. Shortly after, it opened its mouth and bared its fangs toward Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin swept sideways with the golden dragon spear in a fearless manner. With the enhancement of his golden dragon body, he raised his own powers to extreme levels. Boom! Amidst the loud noise, the python's head was struck to the side. The python felt the pain. Its scales stood up on its humongous body as it swiftly wound its way toward him. Tang Wulin's expression was grim. He summoned the Overlord Dragon. A day had passed, and he was able to summon the Overlord Dragon again, which was most suitable for dealing with this giant snake. When the Overlord Dragon appeared, it opened its big mouth and bit the neck of the python. The python struggled desperately. Its humongous body began to wind around the Overlord Dragon's body. The most terrifying character of the Overlord Dragon was its powerful occlusal force. The outcome was already decided once the python was bitten by the Overlord Dragon. Tang Wulin turned around and was stunned. Enea was already a young lady and not the little girl she once was. Her hands could barely cover the beauty of her body. For a time, Tang Wulin felt only a surge of heat. He quickly bit the tip of his tongue and tried hard to sober up. Then, he hastily removed his jacket and tossed it to Enea. "Put this on, quick." Enea caught the jacket. She looked at Tang Wulin, but her beautiful eyes were tearing up. "Brother, you're so mean. Why don't you want me? Which part of Enea is not good enough? Just why don't you want me?" She did not put on the jacket as she abruptly pounced on Tang Wulin. She proceeded to hug him tightly. Tang Wulin's entire body went stiff. He hastily said, "Enea, let go of me. Let's deal with the python first. Have you come here for the military training as well? Why did the pavilion master say you were missing?" Enea cried softly and said, "Teacher doesn't want me to be with you anymore. He's angry. That's why he sent me here. But, I miss you so. Brother, can you not leave me alone? Don't leave me alone anymore." As she was saying this, she hugged Tang Wulin even tighter. Tang Wulin sighed in his heart, but he was at a loss for words. Nonetheless, it was still a happy affair for him to be able to find his little sister. He gently caressed Enea's long hair. "Don't be like this, Enea. Let's deal with the python first." Enea said, "Brother, but first, tell me. Do you pick me or her?" Tang Wulin lowered his head to look at Enea. What he saw was a pair of stubborn eyes. "Enea, I've told you clearly the other day." He was halfway through his sentence when he suddenly noticed Enea's gaze becoming ice cold. Shortly after, he felt pain on his chest. A beam of silver light pierced his body. "Enea, you..." Tang Wulin stared blankly at Enea. The silver dragon spear in Enea's hands had stabbed through his chest. Enea's face was vicious. "Why? Why won't you pick me? I'm better than her in many ways, but you won't pick me. If you won't pick me, then it's better if you just die." As she was talking, she twisted the silver dragon lance in her grasp forcefully. The intense pain made Tang Wulin's entire body convulse. His life force was fast depleting. No, you're not Enea." Enea would never do this to me. Suddenly, Tang Wulin's eyes lit up as he looked at the fierce-looking Enea. You're not Enea. No matter what, Enea won't attack me. Nightmare, old demon nightmare, you're not Enea. Tang Wulin roared furiously. He lashed out with his right hand's golden dragon claw, golden dragon nirvana. Pooh! The Enea before him instantly dissolved, so did the python. Everything around him was becoming convoluted. Such a powerful spiritual will. It's really not easy to make you collapse. Alright then. I'll be more extreme. Everything before his eyes became illusory. Tang Wulin's vision went dark as he fell unconscious again. When he came to this time, he noticed that he had returned to his initial spot. He flipped and sat up. Tang Wulin instinctively checked his chest. There was no wound. Naturally, there was no silver dragon lance either. Enea was just an illusion. In fact, it was nightmare. This video will end here. Like video and subscribe to my channel.